What's happening, everybody? Welcome to Workout Wednesday with myself, Joe Cala, and we are ready to rock and roll today, man. Listen, this is brought to you by Auto Dealer University, and if you have not subscribed to our channel, please do so. Click on the subscribe button there, Auto Dealer University, and also check us out at autodealeruniversity.com. And we are the most comprehensive automotive training platform in the industry. Okay, close to 40 total, training contributors on the platform. Almost about 1,400 or so video courses in there. And man, I'll tell you, we got everything from from soup to nuts, man. I mean, you got CRM training, you got prospecting, closing, showroom, social media branding, internet BDC, sales training. You have cradle to grave management, GM training, GSM training, everything for all manager, floor manager, new car manager, used car manager, internet director. Service, fixed ops, service BDC, we got it all. So check us out, and we'd love to let you test drive it for 30 days. So check us out on autodealeruniversity.com or reach out to me directly. You can call me at 813-463-4015, 813-463-4015. All right, let's get into it today. Today we're going to talk about some fun stuff, and we're going to talk about handling objections and common customer pushback. Handling objections and common customer pushback. Look, I wish that every deal that I put together is just a lay down and okay and just instant yes. No, and there's no pushback, there's no objection. I would love that. I'm sure everybody would love that, but we all know that that's not going to happen. We've talked about how many times sometimes it takes for us to connect with somebody between 5 and 12 contacts before we get a deal. And 80% of our deals come between 5 and 12 contacts. And, only the first, contact, only 2% of deals come together on the first contact. And so we know that sometimes there's going to be pushback, there's going to be delays, there's going to be, objections and things like that. So we're going to talk about handling that. And the one thing I want you to remember is that in anything, you need to practice in order to get better, right? And I've heard a saying a long time ago that practice makes perfect. Well, I don't fully agree with that, because if you practice in the wrong manner, then you're not going to get perfect. You might be perfectly wrong. So it's not just about practice makes perfect. Practice actually makes permanent. And I like to say that because it does. Practice makes permanent. The more you do it, the more permanent it becomes. And so if you train and practice, and improve each time, and you practice the right way, my wrestling coach said, perfect practice makes perfect, right? So as you perfectly practice or practice perfectly, then you'll perfect that technique or whatever it is that you're practicing. So again, practice makes permanent. Make sure that you're doing it in a way that you can continually get it to be a smooth, very easy, maneuver, and, your technique can get a lot more, not so rigid, but a lot more smooth and liquid, so that it's very easy to use in the time that you're having to use it. So practice makes permanent, and that's how we're going to get better with handling objections. So if you're not practicing your objections and your rebuttals with others in your store, in your dealership, whether it's your management, your training team, or just other salespeople or BDC reps or service or whoever, in whatever position you're in, then don't just practice on your customers. That's not the best time to practice. Although that's where we get a lot of good practice is with our customers, but that's not the best time. The best time is to practice before the game, right? And so that's what we're going to do here. So one thing we want to remember is this, that when a customer brings an objection to the table and they have a legit reason in their mind as to say no, or as to say stop, or as to say I'm not moving forward, the reason why, number one, we have to remember, is because they're not convinced yet. Okay, they haven't weighed the scale hasn't tipped to convinced with enough facts, enough truth, enough proof, I should say, for them to say, okay, let's go ahead and move forward. Because that's what it comes down to. They have to, in their mind, cross a plane and say, okay, I have enough proof now. I have enough facts now. I know the truth about this now. And now I'm convinced. Okay. And that's what happens when we provide information, when we give them and we provide them with a walk around and a demonstration, and we connect them to the vehicle and all of the different things that happen in that actual process. What it does is it solidifies the foundation of them being able to have confidence to move forward and say yes on the deal. So just remember this: if there's an objection, there's a reason why that they just aren't convinced yet, and we have to figure out what that is. So regardless of what the objection is, because there's many types of objections, right? There's the, hey, is that your best price objection? Is this, am I getting the best price? How do I know I'm getting the best price? There's the, my trade, I think I want more for my trade. I'm not getting enough from my trade. Or look, I'm just looking right now. I'm just starting my process, the research. I'm just beginning that. I'm in the beginning stages. I'm not ready to buy yet. Probably be ready in a week or two or a month or 3 or 5 or a year. I mean, who knows? Sometimes you get people who they're not ready to do something forever. They're just, wasting time in their mind, right? But it's too expensive. You're not giving me enough on my trade. I can get it for less at the store next, down the street or next door. I have to do more research. Today's a bad day. I can't stay. All that stuff. These are all reasons that maybe, they'll stop the deal from moving forward. And so how do we handle these things? Number one, in order for us to maximize any opportunity with any customer, the best way to overcome an objection sometimes is to make sure that we basically bring the objection to them first. And so, in other words, they're not going to go ahead and just, bring us an objection. We're going to take the objection away from them. And we're going to introduce the objection because we're familiar with it. We know that there's a very good chance that this objection, because they're common objections, they're common pushback reasons as to why they're not going to move forward on the deal. So if we go ahead and make sure we bring it up first, then what happens many times is we're able to go ahead and take it away from being a reason as to not move forward. For example, if many times when you're just approaching, even let's just say we're approaching a customer on the lot, and you're just trying to say hello, and you're reaching your hand out and you're saying, hey, welcome to ABC Toyota. My name is Joe, and you are? And the customer goes, I'm just looking. That's what I am. I'm just looking, right? And so they're objecting to your even just saying hello and greeting them on the lot. And sometimes that's just that awkward feeling that as well as I know as a salesperson you hate having to deal with. And so you're walking up and there's that tense moment inside of you. You feel it beginning to rise and you're saying, oh, great, here we go. Are they going to say they're just looking? And then I'm going to have to say, okay, what are you looking for? And I'd like to help you, and that's why I'm here. So one way to do that is simply this. As you're approaching, again, we're looking to bring the objection to the customer. As you're approaching the customer, you're saying, hello, Mr. Customer. I just want to, first off, welcome you to ABC Toyota. My name is Joe, and I'm here to help you, just like we do all of our customers that come onto our lot. Number one, we want to help you because you may have some questions about pricing. We want to make sure we can get you the best pricing. You may be looking for a specific vehicle. I want to point you in the right direction for that. And you also may be looking for some, numbers on your trade. I'd love to provide that to you as well. So what can I do to help you out today? And welcome to our lot. And then all of a sudden now they can't give you any of those objections. You just brought them all up, right? And so now they might say, well, I am just looking. Oh, great. Because now that's not a problem because you just said, well, you're probably just looking. And so they will say, well, I am kind of just looking and not sure what to do yet. Well, no problem at all. Again, my name is Joe and you are, and now you start off and now you have a conversation. Now you're leading the conversation now instead of having to be a reactive responding, oh, okay, you're just looking. What were you looking for? And then they tell you and then you're responding and then reacting. Now you're proactively asking the questions and you're taking the deal forward. So that's just one example of bringing the objection to the customer. Now, the other thing is this. is when a customer brings up an objection. For example, let's just say we're talking to a customer on the phone, and the customer calls and said, hey, I'm just reaching out here because I saw you guys have this 2015 Camry on your website here, and I need to know what your best price is. What's the best price? Not a problem, Mr. Customer. I can definitely get you that best price here. In order for me to do so, I'm going to go ahead and just check it out in the system here and just check first and foremost the availability. You said it's a 2015 Camry. Do you happen to know the stock number? Are you looking at the vehicle right now online? Yeah, I am looking at the vehicle right now. It is stock number A38272. Okay, fantastic. What website were you looking at? Okay, great. And also, you're looking at our website. I love it. Great. Okay. And so the best price is what we're going to definitely assure you on. And as you can see here on the website, it shows you that the pricing on this is $16,995, and that's the market value. As you can see here, the market value is $16,995, and there's a $2,000 savings where we're pricing this below our market value of $16,995, and so therefore now we're at $14,995. And so besides pricing, though, obviously, what else was important to you? And what I just did was I acknowledged the objection, which was best price, or I acknowledged the what was brought up as the best price. And then from there, I addressed it and said, okay, this is the price here. And as you can see, I talked about it. And then I said, well, besides price, what else was important to you? And so I transitioned. So acknowledge, address, and transition. Acknowledge, address, and transition. Okay. So when you acknowledge the objection or the concern or the pushback of a customer, then you address it, then you transition, it creates a conversation, and it helps the customer have confidence that you're going to take care of them. I'm not going to get into a fight or try to work a full deal on them just asking what the best price is. I'm going to give them a price. And then I'm going to also say this, well, okay, as you can see here, Mr. Customer, the price here is set on the internet here as $14,995 after our $2,000 savings. And here, let me just also assure you that we will never refuse any reasonable offer when it comes to price. So besides price, what else was it that drew you to this vehicle? And I'm now going to go ahead and begin to have this conversation with the customer, because we have to remember that this is what happens when we talk to customers. Here's the customer. Here's the salesperson. Salesperson comes and says, hello, Mr. Customer. Customer goes, hello. And then the salesperson says, my name is, and you are, and the customer says, John. And now what's happening is customer, we're trying to get a little bit of a bend in the customer to get them to kind of come a little bit towards us and bend a little bit, but they got the wall up. They're stiff because they read on KBB.com or on certain YouTube channel they watched how to buy a car. And so they're going to be stiff. They're going to be cold. They're going to be logical. They're not going to get emotionally attached. They're not going to tell you about their life, their wife, their kids, or their family. They're not going to share anything because you're the enemy. And that's what they think sometimes. And it's not their fault, because it's, again, that's how we're perceived by some people. I'm going to also say this. There's a company out there called Vroom that makes a sales buying experience look like it's a circus show. Okay? They make us look like when we work in the dealership, like we're a circus act. And so this is the perception that a sales associate has to fight against when they're talking to a customer. And so when we go ahead and start having that conversation and we start speaking to them, and as we're talking to them and asking them questions, okay, so other than price, what else was it that drew you to this vehicle? Oh, well, I also like the fact that it's got low miles. And obviously, yeah, the price is really kind of in the range of what I'm trying to spend. But to be also honest with you, I like that it's got the navigation, because I do a lot of driving. And so, those are some things that I like about it. Okay, great. So basically what I'm hearing, Mr. Customer, is that you do some driving, you do it for work, or do you travel and kind of like just recreation driving, and then, I do it for work. Okay, what do you do? Well, I go ahead and and you start asking these questions, and you have them start talking about themselves. And now all of a sudden what's happening is you're starting to interlock with this customer. And now you're talking to the customer, and say, well, by the way, I actually have quite a few vehicles just like that vehicle that you're looking at here, that 2016 Toyota Camry, with similar miles and actually close to and even a little bit less in money. Would anything else be of interest if that was the case as well besides this? I mean, this vehicle is available, but we also have some other vehicles like that. So what do you think? Are you open to any other vehicles if they have similar things that are important to you? So now what I'm doing is I'm locking together with him or her, and we're finding that, okay, great, we're starting to connect, because here's the deal. If we just keep it like this, then it's very easily like, okay, bye. There's nothing connecting us. Well, now it's harder to rip this apart and have something pull us apart, or objections pull us apart, because there's a connection. And so we want to make that connection, because that's what we're doing. We're building a relationship, and in the process, we're selling a vehicle. Okay. And the customer, as we continue to make them feel confident, make them feel that this is, providing to them the experience that they like and want and know, and make them feel secure that we're going to be able to assist and help them with meeting their needs, their wants, their expectations, and their desires, then they're going to go ahead and eventually, interrupt their life and come and sit in a car dealership. So we have to remember that. We have to be able to acknowledge, address, and transition properly when we're dealing with objections or common concerns that customers push back with. So one thing we have to do is we have to listen more than we talk. But even though we want to listen more than we talk, we still want to make sure that we ask the right questions when we're talking. Okay? Because here's what happens when you listen to the customer, they'll be able to tell you what the true objection or the root of the objection is, and determine if you have the right solution for them or not. And most likely we will have the right solution for them. It's just a matter of listening and finding what that problem is. Excuse me. Every week, right, Ezra?
You brought water this week, though.
I brought water this week, so
you did bring water this week.
That's right. All right, so listen more than talk, okay? Never interrupt the customer. The best way to turn your customer off is by interrupting them while they're talking to you and telling you about it. When they start to tell you, well, to be honest with you, it's just too expensive. It's not in my budget. I'm not ready to make a decision. You cut them off. Man, don't do that. Don't cut them off. Let them talk. Show them that you have interest in what's important to them, and then ask the right questions. Acknowledge what they say, address what they say, and then transition by asking another question, okay? So let's take a look at a couple of common objections that customers use and that they speak when we're dealing with them when it comes to them walking on a lot. Okay, I'm just looking. We also understand that, we said before, I'm just looking, we know that on average, it's probably about 1.6 or so dealerships are visited before they make a decision to buy. So if they're there and they're just looking, then we know that they're getting close to making a deal or making a decision. All right. So I'm just looking. Hey, not a problem, Mr. Customer. I totally understand. We're here to help you out in that looking process. And I want to make sure I point you to the right place for what you're looking for. Are you looking for a vehicle to replace what you just drove up in, or are you looking to add to your current fleet? Asking the right questions. Okay. I'm not afraid of the fact that they're just looking. I'm not afraid if they ask me, I want a better price. I'm not afraid if they say, oh, well, I want more for my trade. That's normal. That's common. If I have to, get scared from that stuff, that's nothing to be scared about. That's normal. So we have to do our job to maximize the opportunity to build value as best as we can in the experience, in the vehicle, in the service that they receive from me, from the management, and from our service department beyond and after the sale. Okay? So I'm not ready to buy today. Hey, not a problem. I'm here to help you regardless of whether you're ready now. I want to help get you ready for when you are in the market. Okay? So let's go ahead and just make sure that you're fully assured that I'm not gonna try to pressure you or give you anything that's gonna make you feel like you're not I'm trying to get you into a vehicle when you're not ready. I'll help you now so that when the time is right for you to be ready, you're ready to go. How's that sound? Okay, great. And then I'm going to go ahead and begin the process. I am not going to push on them. I'm going to ask them the right questions. I'm still going to ask for the deal. I'm still going to move forward. and I'm still going to make sure that based off of me asking the right questions and finding the right information to qualify them properly and then select a vehicle that fits what they're trying to accomplish, then at that point, what I'm going to do is I am going to then at the time ask them for the sale anyway. Why? Because if everything's in the right place, we're still going to go ahead and see if it makes sense for them to make a decision to do business today and take them out of the market. Why wait? You know, and that's one of the things that we do. So if they bring it up in the front, well, I'm not ready to buy today. Not a problem. I totally understand. But let's go ahead and get you all the information so that when the time comes, you are ready. Okay. And then another thing I'm going to say is this. I totally understand. What is it that needs to happen between now and the time that you are ready to make a decision? I'm going to ask that question. Oh, I totally understand, Mr. Customer. What is it that's going to happen between now and the time that you are ready to make a decision to purchase? And so they'll tell you, well, I'll be honest with you. The reason why I'm not ready now is because I'm getting money from a settlement, or I'm getting, I have to move my, money over from my 401k or from, a money market, or I have something I'm selling, or I'm waiting for my daughter to graduate, or I'm in the middle of closing a house and I can't because I have to do the closing first. And then I can make a decision on whether or not I can purchase or not. So these are some things here that we can ask, okay? It's out of my budget. Listen, I totally understand why, I get it, based off of what you're telling me here. This is your budget. And so, one thing I have found is that based off of if we're able to ask the right questions and try to find what that budget looks like in the beginning, then we can know and select the right vehicle. Many times dealing with the out of my budget objection can be dealt with in the front if we land them on the right vehicle. So sometimes it's truly just the fact of landing them on the right vehicle. Now, if we don't have them on the right vehicle and they're in too much vehicle and it really is out of their budget, then we simply say not a problem. What we can do is we can go ahead and look at this same vehicle. Do you like the vehicle? First of all, I want to make sure you like the vehicle. Yes, you do. Okay, great. I can look at the same vehicle with some less options here that will fit your budget of what we're trying to accomplish. Now, that's going to also help you determine, because based off of every time, they add something, they're adding to their budget. And so when you know what their budget is up front, and you say that, to them, as they go ahead and look at the vehicle, and you start, finding the right things that they want and they need and they desire, and you start seeing that, well, okay, I'd like to have leather. Okay, not a problem. We understand you like to have leather. That comes in a package, which will add to your budget. Just so you know, this is going to add to the payment, and this is going to add to the value of the vehicle, so that when we work this out, it may look like it's going to be adding some additional money here. So I want to make sure we put that up front here, and I'll show you that vehicle for sure. Okay. So when you start setting that up properly, it can help you avoid having to deal with it's out of my budget if you land them on the right vehicle, or if they say it's too expensive or it's just too much money. And a lot of times, it's too much money because they haven't seen the value for them to justify the spend of the money. Just because they say it's too much money or it's out of my budget doesn't mean they don't have the money, or doesn't mean that they don't have the budget to make it fit. They just want to stay within a certain range. And so this is why it's very important to get them to test drive the vehicle, sell the value of all the nice things that they're getting in the vehicle and that's getting added to the vehicle, and then have them feel and drive and experience the vehicle, so that when they're sitting across from you, just heard one of my dealers just tell me the other day that a customer came in, they said, look, I can't go over $305 a month. That's the most I can spend, and I'm not going to be able to go, beyond that. They came in, they worked the deal, they drove the car, they did everything. They ended up driving home at $405 a month. And so the customer said, okay, let's do it. And they love the vehicle, they love the experience, because the value is built, and they see that, wow, this has everything I want, everything I need. And even though it's a little bit more money, I'll make it fit and I'll make it work, and I'll spend the extra money. People will spend the money and justify the means here and what they're trying to accomplish once they see the value. Okay, so we have to sell the value. What's value? Value is what is important to them. Okay, when they say, okay, well, look, I can get it less from your competitor. They were giving me a lower price. They were giving me less or more money on my trade. Okay, so I totally understand. So the first question is real quick. So why didn't you buy the vehicle then from them? That's a legit question, right? And then it's how you say it. I totally understand. So you said you were at ABC Toyota, and what was it that caused you to not move forward with the deal, even though it was such a great deal? Because you're not there and you didn't buy it, right? So I just want to make sure I know what happened or what didn't happen in order for the deal to come together. So by asking those questions, they're going to tell you pretty much on how to not screw up like they did, or they might, be telling you the truth, or they might be telling you not all of the truth as well, because sometimes they're not going to tell you everything, so that they can try to get you to give them an absolute best price or whatever it may be. So, asking them that question. So what was it that happened over there, or that didn't happen over there, that needed to happen in order for you to do business? Or what is it that we need to do then that they didn't do? By asking these questions, you're going to help uncover the true thing that's holding them back. Okay. And the other thing too is, I have to do more research. They might say, well, I need to go home. I need to go do some more research. I'm not fully convinced yet. I'm not sure, if this is right yet. I need to go think about it. All these different things. I understand you want to go do some more research. What does that mean? What does that translate to? That means that they're not convinced yet. They don't have enough facts yet or proof yet to convince them to say yes, or confidence to move forward. So many times it's more knowledge, it's more building of value. And sometimes it's us helping them say yes. Well, I understand what you're saying, Mr. Customer. You did tell me that you wanted to make sure that the vehicle had this in it, and this vehicle has this in there, correct? Yes. You also wanted to stay in this certain budget and range, and this is where we're pretty close to this range here. We're in the ballpark. And wouldn't you agree? Yeah, you are. And also, the other thing is you wanted to make sure that this happened and this happened, right? Yeah. So basically everything that you wanted to have happen and close to happen is happening. And so I think I just want to, assure you this is the right deal. You're in the right place. You're with the right person. And I'd love to see you take advantage of this opportunity and not miss it. And plus, the other thing is you don't have to go to any more dealerships after this, and you don't have to experience the whole buying process again. So, I'd love to move things forward for you. What do you think? Reach your hand out. And then just wait. Sometimes they just need a nudge. Sometimes they need, it does have everything that you were looking for. It fits in what you're trying to accomplish. So I think you should definitely move forward with it. Put your hand out. Turn the paper around. I just need your signature right here, and we'll get everything started. So these are some things here, guys, that I just wanted to talk about. Handling objections, common customer pushback, acknowledge, address, and transition. Bring the objection to them before they bring it up to you. Listen more than you talk. Never interrupt them, all right? Handle it in the way that you're giving them confidence, building value, helping give them more proof and facts and truth to weigh the scale and tip the scale to their advantage. And then sometimes give them a little nudge, and that'll help them make the deal move forward. All right. Thank you guys for stopping by again here at Workout Wednesday, and we'll see you next Wednesday.